Hey, Mom, it's Tanya, and I am here today on the Juggle is Real show, parenting and mental health for moms and teens, without my beautiful co host, Sabrina Saunders. And there is a reason for this, and that is because we recorded yesterday the last episode of our series that we launched in January 2025 of how to help moms and teens together create a life that they absolutely love, a life that is so clear to them. It's a life that is by their design. And yesterday, the universe, perhaps it was Zoom, perhaps it was us, wasn't cooperating. And there was not an audio portion to that recording. So here's the deal. How do we take a circumstance, a predicament that seems to be a block to that life by design, and how do we use it as a opportunity as opposed to an obstacle? And that's exactly what this bonus episode is about. This bonus episode is an interview from the book Sacred Spaces: Subtle Shifts for Mind, Body, and Home Transformation that I co-author with. It's a series, and I've had the privilege and honor of co-authoring a chapter for each book, each volume. And in this volume, my chapter is called Soul Money, the Art and Science to Alignment, which is so aligned with the series that we have been recording and sharing with you all. And I also really am so excited about you moms listening in to two other moms. There are 24 authors, and I had the absolute honor and the privilege of being interviewed with two other authors who happen to be moms in the area of where I live. And they really just show up in a way of how they take stories and situations that seem to be an obstacle, and then they really leverage it to be able to do exactly what our series is about, and that is to live a life by design. And so take a listen, let us know what you think, and I really look forward to sharing with you the last part of the episode that we recorded yesterday, and you'll get that next week. So thanks for listening.
Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. It's time to experience what's possible. All right, you guys. So what if one subtle shift could change everything? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing authors of one of our newest books. This one is called Sacred Spaces: Subtle Shifts for Mind, Body, and Home Transformation. This is volume 3 in a spectacular, award-winning book series from our lead author, Colleen Avis. And before I introduce these amazing authors to you, I have a huge shout out to Colleen. Colleen, we wouldn't be here without you. Your vision and mission was alien badass big. And I jumped on that train really, really fast. I so appreciate the way you move through the world with the level of awareness that you do, but also your kindness and your generosity. And this book series has been amazing. Thank you so much for gathering this stellar group of experts together. You guys are going to meet 3 of them today. Heidi Ellenberger is an entrepreneur, speaker, and angel investor, passionate about empowering women through business, mentorship, and philanthropy. Founder of Modern Jones, a luxury real estate brand, and co-founder of Weird and Wrong LLC, creating humor-infused gifts. Heidi combines business acumen, creativity, and social impact to inspire others. I'm so glad you're here, Heidi.
Thank you, Laura.
We have Sheila Cordaro here, so founder of and CEO of Core Fit, a personal and group fitness company, as well as the founder of Boys Gotta Run, a running club for 3rd to 5th grade boys. Welcome, Sheila.
Thank you.
And Tanya Saunders is here. She's a nurse anesthetist. I knew I was going to bum that one up. And holistic wellness consultant through transformative breathwork, self-awareness practices, and tools grounded in neuroplasticity and polyvagal theory. She guides women to break free from stress and limiting beliefs. Welcome, Tanya. Are you
Thank
guys going to give
you.
me an award for bio reading or what? Like, I think I need an award for bio reading. Oh my gosh. Well, you guys are awesome. Like, I love reading your bios. I can't wait to share you and everything about your chapters with our audience today. Heidi, you're going to start the party off. Take a minute to introduce your chapter and give us a little bit of the why behind it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Laura. I wrote chapter 18, The Art of Becoming Alive, How to Breathe Intention into Designing the Life You Love. And for me, there's been several wake-up calls throughout my life. And kind of the first one was a dramatic one where I just realized I was asleep at the wheel. And so I really try and work on remembering that I'm alive and that, we have one life to live and really harnessing that. So that was my why for sharing that with people, my experience. I've been through, illness, divorce, death, all of these things that just remind us that we have this great opportunity to be alive and want to spread that word with a little humor and fun. For people that maybe still asleep at the wheel, if you will.
Asleep at the wheel. Yeah, let's talk about that zombie life for a minute. This is a wake-up call if you're listening and you're like, oh, what does that mean? What does that mean to you, Heidi? What were the patterns you were seeing in yourself?
I think, I feel like you go through these parts of life where, you're young and you're trying to figure out your career and then maybe get married and have kids. And you know, with kids, it's an amazing experience, and I'm so happy that was part of my journey. But I think you're just in the doing, and I am definitely somebody that likes to move and do and do. But sometimes I think you have to take a step back and like, what does this all mean? And with the doing, you're forgetting about the living part. And that to me is like remembering your passions. Remember what lit you up as a kid when you didn't have these other people in your life or commitments or job that pull you in a certain direction. And so really becoming aware of the decisions that you're making for you and your life. Like this year for 25, I'm doing 25 new skills. And so already I've learned tarot card and I shot guns and I've learned how to sell like a spy. Like that lights me up because it's like pushing me out of my comfort zone. Um, and it's really helping me hone in on new skills that, you know, you don't feel like you always have the time to do when you're kind of really in it and not being conscious about, how you're living. So to me, that's becoming alive and really kind of getting in touch with the essence of yourself.
I love that. What did you say? So like a what? What was that last thing you're
Sell
doing?
like a spy.
Sell like a spy. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think we might all need that course. That's
It was
awesome.
really cool. It was by a gentleman who had written a book, Sell Like a Spy. He was a CIA operative, and he would, how do you get somebody to be a traitor to your country? Can you imagine that sale?
Mhm.
Very
Oh my
interesting.
gosh. Well, I think one of the marks of a master is a learner's mindset. And so I think that that's brilliant and definitely agree it's a way to come alive. Heidi, thank you so much for saying yes to this project and for being here today.
Thank you. Proud to be a part of it.
Sheila, you're up next. Tell us a little bit about what's up with your chapter, especially like the why behind it.
Yeah, hi. I am the author of chapter 2, and the title is Move Your Ass. So you can probably imagine I am a tough love type of trainer, and I really want to impress upon people, especially the aging population, that it is so important to move, to strength train,
Um, I think, my chapter, I was going through these writing exercises with our other authors, and I didn't really realize that this was a pivotal moment in my life, what my chapter is about. And through the journaling and the writing exercises, I found that I subconsciously had made a vow to myself to be strong so that I could live an independent and mobile life into my later years. And just, I want to impress this upon, um, the population that's younger than me, not even just women, but everybody. Start moving now. It's never too late. It's not too late to start strength training, stretching, and investing in your health.
Oh my gosh, yes. You just had me going with a little flash about this. I front loaded my life with massive amounts of exercise. I would say to people that that was my drug of choice.
Mhm.
But it was a very kind of, for me, a healthy addiction. I kept myself strong and flexible and all the things, but I just went through kind of a 5-year period where it all got dropped, which is a very long story. But now I'm picking up again some of your motivation, some of the things you just
Mhm.
said. It's like, no, 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 like you need to move back into that in whatever way you can. And so for people who might be not quite there in the motivation department, they just haven't been able to get themselves to do anything. What would be your first thing you would say to them?
Yeah, you made a good point. Sometimes it does become an addiction, and it doesn't have to be your be all end all. You start small and stay consistent. And eventually, you're going to find a routine in this and actually enjoy moving, get outdoors, take a walk. I always tell people park in the furthest parking spot from the door of wherever you're going into, and you'll get some steps in that way. And it'll get you outside more. Some of us are going back to office going back to working in the office now, and you'll be spending more time indoors possibly. And you have to find little hacks to get yourself outside and moving, just being more mobile.
I parked in like the furthest spot away from a store. I had my daughter in the car with me and I'm driving around the parking lot and I pull in. She's like, "Why do you have to park so far away?" Like, we're getting our steps in, girl. And let's do
Exactly.
it.
And that's just one little hack. Yeah.
Yes, it's a great one. It's a great one. Um, yes, I think that especially as we age, but also for me, I think you'll probably resonate is that my mental health stays great when I'm moving.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
there's such a strong link. Yeah. Is there anything you want to say about that?
Yeah. Definitely. It's a real thing. Endorphins are a real thing. And when you're moving, you're heightening those endorphins, and it plays a very important role on your mental health, makes you feel better. I just think prioritizing health and fitness, is number one for the long haul.
Sheila, thank you. Thanks for saying yes to this
Thank you.
project and for
Thanks
being
for
here.
having me. Thank you.
Tanya, tell us everything. Give us a little intro to your chapter and a little bit about your why.
I love that. Tell us everything. First of all, just want to say hello and thank you again, Laura. And I'm just feeling like super privileged and honored to be here with Sheila and Heidi. And obviously you, Laura. Like I didn't know who was going to be on today. And I just feel like it's just like such divine, it's like an alignment. So I'm Tanya. I wrote chapter 3. It's soul money. And it's the art and science to alignment. And I wrote that because I think my relationship in money has been I like to say it's been a wellness journey. And when I think about wealth, I think about wealth as like really integrative because it's like we don't want to be just wealthy in just money. I want to be wealthy, enriched in that integrative aspect of living a holistic life, which is, with our relationships, in our body, as Sheila says, that sense of well being in our body mentally, in our career and our passions, and definitely, yeah, with our time and money, because there's a sense of being able to have some time freedom and being able to circulate that money. So I wrote that chapter because, again, it's been a journey into really understanding my relationship with money and my relationship with self-worth and how to discover limitations, abundance blocks, and what has really supported me in like this healing of my lineage. Because it's just so much of what I've carried from my own experiences with my family and what we carry as just being women in general, from that gender gap, and really just discovering how so much of money has is a guide to understanding how we are meant, when I say soul, how we're meant to evolve and grow in, yeah, within ourselves, but then also within our lineage, like I said, but then as a gender, which I think has been super profound.
It's interesting that we're here together today. And by the way, the universe puts you all together, right? It's so random. It's not random at
Right?
all.
Yeah.
I love how that happens. But it's also funny because I posted a photo this morning and that I created. I did my little Canva thing and I said, "My health is my wealth." And I'm coming
Mhm.
back to that in 2025 as my primary directive for Q1 so that I can really feel the benefit of the money and the free and the time and the all the things, right? And so I loved your chapter topic to get people thinking about it differently. It's energy, right? What do you want to tell people about that piece of things?
It's energy, it's fluid, it's circulatory, and it really, again, is a way to look at where we want to block ourselves from. Here's what I love about it. And we look at money in the way that I offered in the practice is to look at it holistically. And I used it in the way of looking at it to the elements. And I was thinking about Heidi when you were saying that the way that you were looking at things of like how to get out of like that autopilot stuck way of being. And you look to like, oh, what really inspires me, and it is a way to look to like that fiery aspect of us. But with money too, we also need that sense of safety, that sense of practicality, that we need that house, we need that home, we need that food. And then mentally, like how we can use our money to support our emotional well-being. So that's like was a such a profound way. I wanted to bring into that aspect, like a fun way to look to it, but also like a really practical way to again to like figuring out your sense of alignment, because our sense of alignment is our own unique way of finding what I like to say harmony, right? Like there's no such thing as balance because we know like it's energy. So energy just needs to move. But the fluidity and the harmony within ourselves of how we spend our money is a reflection of who we are inside and outside. And those two are different, right? And so that's why using money and energy as energy and really understanding like how we get to keep we get to use it in a framework of looking at our sense um of yeah, just an integrative aspect of maintaining a sense of harmony, and it's always moving. I think I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the book, but it's definitely one of my courses where I talked about. I mean, this is something that is like for millennia. Like Hippocrates looked at the elements as a way to like come back to balance, right? To come back to harmony. And so when we can use money in a way of looking of how to come back to balance within ourselves, when we think about those different aspects, as I was mentioning, of the fiery, water, earth element, and air aspect of ourselves, it becomes like a really fun way to like using money as a way to understanding ourselves and how we get to just grow in this one life that we get to live, as Heidi says.
Tanya, thank you. Thank you for saying yes to this project and for being here today. Imagine you guys if we could make money a fun thing. That changes the energy already. That's
Yeah.
one subtle shift that could change everything, like I said earlier. Okay, so you all, I think, get the idea that sometimes this journey that we're on can be overwhelming. And it's difficult to know where to start. There's a sea of information. There is a sea of people out there to get information from. Sheila, share with our listeners a small step, maybe one of those subtle shifts they can make to help them start off on this path today.
So I gave, in my practice, I gave a list of about 25 exercises, very basic exercises that somebody just coming from the couch to fitness can do, like walking lunges or leg swings, lateral leg swings, or even squats, sitting down on a chair and standing back up. Those are just very small things that they can start doing. And eventually they're building their muscle strength. They'll feel like more confident to go into some more of those difficult exercises, like a deeper squat or a deadlift or single leg balance posture. So that's what I would suggest. And I also gave a tool on how to get up from the floor, which I think is super important for the elderly, because that's where they run into a huge problem, is when they fall and they're living alone.
Sometimes I'll do little leg raises, either backwards or out to the side. Bathroom counter. You could
Yep.
multitask this,
In
y'all.
the shower. Oh yeah. I mean, you're brushing your teeth. You can do calf raises. Yeah.
Yeah.
Washing the dishes.
Yes,
Squat,
all
squat,
of
wash
those
the
places.
dishes.
I like that. I haven't tried that one yet. Squat and wash.
I'll
Let's
find a way
go.
for you to move. Let me tell you.
I love it. So just even that one subtle shift of movement, you guys, even if you just pick one of those suggestions and start to do that, that's a step. Tiny steps will lead to bigger steps, will lead to feeling different. And yeah, I love that, Sheila. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Tanya, how about you? Like when you're trying to help people start off on this path, what do you want to tell them?
To start, so much. I mean, I guess there was an exercise that I'll say that was super profound that Ramit Sethi shared with me, and that was like, if you have $1,000, and if you could spend it, you have to spend it within 24 hours, and you couldn't spend it on other people. You couldn't spend it on anything to pay off a debt. Like, what would you spend it on? And I think it was like it was a quick exercise to look at, like, what's a core value of yours? Like, what do you really value?
I love that one. You had me
My wheel-
things down.
My wheel just
I'm like, I can't
What does
buy
that mean?
anything for anyone else. Like I love gift buy, right? I immediately thought, well, I would buy people gift. Oh, oops, nope, can't do that. Okay. Yeah, I love it. I think they would be pens and journals.
See, oh my God, it so speaks to your core value. Yeah.
And
I was like, do I want to say like get financially literate? No, that doesn't sound very fun yet. Maybe it might be the first one I would do.
I love that. What a great, just easy exercise to think about. Yes, this is why you guys are all so brilliant with this. All right, Heidi, what do you want to add? What's one way somebody can maybe kind of dip a toe in on that path?
I think that just being conscious of what you're doing and not being like just doing things without thinking about what you're doing, being conscientious. And I know that people feel like they don't have time and you know, I'm a mom, I get that, but you really need to make time for yourself to do the things that you like, and they don't have to be expensive. I mean, Sell Like a Spy was free. Just, so that it's not even expensive things, and we live in this great city where you can go to the art museum and get a docent and learn something new. And it's amazing how refreshed you feel from just doing something different and new and learning a new skill. So I would just be like, start with being conscious of what you're doing and when you're doing it. So I think that's like the first step. And I just wanted to add that I think one of the things that I love about, I read about money before, and Tanya, you reminded me of this, is that currency is literally movement, right? And so all of us, what we're all talking about is
Movement.
not just money, moving your body, moving like your thoughts and becoming alive. So I just wanted to point that.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, you're right. I had a mentor say, if you have a money problem, you have a circulation problem. And
Right.
so that could, oh my gosh, when we integrate that idea in all these ways you guys are talking about, it's just fabulous. All right, I just have a thank you before we move into our last question today. But, thanks not just for saying yes to the project, but for really taking the challenge I gave you. This is a chapter where you really offered a vulnerable, real story about yourself and your own journey. And that takes something to write those. But then you stepped up with your master teachings in the second part of these chapters. And so you're giving those generous practices and tools and strategies to the reader. This book is a phenomenal toolkit of all of those things. And I'm thinking about what Heidi said about, like, I'm going to learn 25 new things this year. Well, this could be a really good way to do that because you're going to have these 25 ways to practice these different kinds of subtle shifts. So, thank you for doing that writing and really the intention you put behind those teachings. Thank you for doing that so brilliantly, all three of you. Um, I want now to kind of move into a little bit more about that tool that you're teaching. Tanya, what's the most important thing you want people to know about soul money?
You are worthy. Like, we are born worthy. And I feel like what we desire in life wants us to. And I think that it's not a linear path, but it is a way of really discovering, like, that the authentic nature of who you are, and to really just bust through limiting beliefs. And like I said in the beginning, it really is a way to heal time, yeah, backwards, but forward, and just there's just such beauty in growth and evolution in a nonlinear path, but on a definitely upward path. So just wanted to add that. Thank you.
I think you're speaking to a lot of people. Step into your worthiness, and that is a step on this path that's going to get you a lot of places, including to your money goals. For a lot of people, it's a self-worth journey. It's so important. So if that's you, if we're speaking to you, if Tanya what she just said is like, that's me, yeah, good. Like, that's going to be the neon sign, like, okay, this is where we want you to go with this. All right, Heidi, how about you? What is the most important thing you want people to know about becoming alive?
That life is worth living. It's that, and don't forget that I have a quote from Joseph Campbell on my chapter that if the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's. And to me, it speaks so much because you'll see in my chapter, I've, we all have heartache and things don't go our way. Things are unexpected. And they're really hard, and maybe they don't look hard to the outside world, but they're really hard, and maybe the way that you're reacting and moving through it is a little different than someone else. But, it's your life. And, like, I feel like we each have chapters to our lives, and it doesn't make one chapter better than the other or dismiss a chapter, but it's all part of this journey of life. And, to me, if you're not living, you're dying. So I hope somebody that hears this, reads this, shares, the stories of all my amazing co-authors. Like, this is what we're, you know, telling you, showing you, hopefully you'll see a bit of you in each of our stories and choose to become alive.
I love it. I love that Joseph Campbell quote. It's like, oh yeah, if it's super clear, you might want to question a couple of things. That gives us all permission to live this crazy, chaotic life that we're living, and understanding that those things are happening for our evolution. So I think, oh my gosh, that we could be on that one for 3 more hours, couldn't we? Um, All right, Sheila, you're last up for this. What's the most important thing you want people to know about moving their ass?
Yeah. There is a common theme throughout this book. This is a collaboration of these unique stories that I think every one of them, Laura and Tanya, you both talked about self-worth and stepping into your self-worth. It is about investing in yourself. Each one of us in these stories, I've read them all, and it's all about, how we've discovered something that is embedded in us. But it's also about stepping out of your comfort zone, right? That's where you start living, is when you start getting out of that routine and thinking, mine is movement, even if you are someone who regularly exercises, maybe it's time to do something different or do something more. And if you're somebody who doesn't exercise, start moving your ass. Just get up and move your ass. I'm begging you. I mean, I have my hands together because honestly, this is, it's so ingrained in me that the importance of movement is how we are going to survive an independent and mobile existence as we get older. And I am so fearful of the possibility of not being able to move on my own.
Yeah, really, really important message there. So, you guys, if you haven't already gotten the gist, this is way more than a book. This is a generous community of people who want to help. So, if something you heard today is giving you the goosebumps, you have a question, or you need support, I have these experts hooked up down below with their websites and their links. They're waiting for you to reach out. They're waiting for you to ask that question. This is a place and a community where we can help with those questions and carry on the juicy conversations we started today. So many of them. I can't wait for you all to go grab this book. Authors, to all three of you today, thank you so much for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with everyone. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Laura. Thanks, Colleen.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, and another big thanks to Colleen.
Yes,
So
thank
we
you.
want you to hop over to Amazon and grab the book. That is your next call
Yes,
to action.
please.
Yes,
Please.
please. And another big gift, you guys, you can join this author cast for our book launch party. It's going to be on Zoom on February 21st. So if you're listening to this in time, you want to join us, I've got the info down below on how to register for that Zoom party. We're going to have a lot of fun in that hour that we spend with you. But we would love for you to go grab the book. Lastly, today, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.